And as you get older and older, you start seeing stuff like that happening to other people.
Man.
So you start seeing it. Like, I had a guy that I knew that he was just casually smoking some weed with, some more fellas.
Yeah.
And, they laced it with something. And, he had a heart attack based on what was in there. So, again, dead or in jail. And I had another partner of mine that, got killed up in the trap.
Yeah.
I got so many other friends that been in jail for different things that they did.
Yeah.
So
you see it all around you.
So if you kind of pay attention to the life lessons, whether it's a teacher, a deacon, a preacher, a granny, or whatever the case is, you got to take them lessons and run with it.
Welcome to another episode here at Lightwork Podcast. We are more than excited for today's episode. This is our first episode with a guest, and me and Christian are more than excited to have this guest on our podcast. A lot of you guys don't know this person, but I know him on a personal level. His name is Bristol, and he'll be on in a bit. He has a great testimony in which I feel like a lot of y'all can relate to and maybe see yourselves like going through right now what he went through. And we're more than excited. So, let me introduce our guest today from Oak Cliff, the trenches of Dallas,
South Dallas,
Bristol Jones. All right, so like I said, a lot of people don't know you personally, but I know where you kind of were raised and everything, and I feel like sharing your story a little bit, you can, I guess, help the young people, I guess, know that there is, I guess, a way out the hood.
Yeah, it's and we knew from your upbringing that your grandmother instilled Christ in you, so we want to just talk about that and
let's get into it.
Can we start with that? Like, how was your childhood? How did you grow up?
Well, my name Bristol. Last name, I don't know if I should give out my name.
You don't have to.
It don't matter.
But as being said, I grew up in Oak Cliff, so it was pretty rough where I grew up. Best for less, 304, for all y'all that know about that. Around the Holland Hills, Village Oaks area, so it was pretty grimy over there. So what I always say, if I can make it out, I ain't nobody special, but if I can make it out, with the tools I had and the people I had around me, anybody can. So we'll get into it.
Yes, sir.
Amen. So let's dive right into it. How was your upbringing? Tell me about like the area you were raised in. You already said, of course, the hood and everything, but for those that do not know what those places are, kind of give it like a kid answer.
Well,
like who raised you and all that stuff.
I grew up in Oak Cliff. People say Oak Cliff. It could be Red Bear Lane, or it could be, towards the,
the nicer parts. Yeah.
The houses I grew up in, $20,000-$30,000 houses, 2-bedroom houses. It's 3 or 4s in one house, stuff like that. Yeah. But I grew up with a grandma and my mom. Those are two women that kind of raised me and kind of guided me through this journey of life, and that's who still to this day kind of guide me into this journey of life. But the part of Oak Cliff I grew up in, it was pretty rough. How people say they hear gunshots and different things like that. I hear that on a daily basis. You wake up in the morning, you smell the gunpowder in there. It's just like the hood. But just all seriousness though, it's pretty grimy over there. And what I mean by grimy is it's a lot of dope over there. It's a lot of different prostitutes and all kind of stuff that you can think of that you see on The Simpsons and different episodes. It's there. It wasn't the best place to grow up in, but that's kind of like what we're talking about right now, where, you can start from the bottom and, can work yourself up to where you need to be, just, with the guidance and the different fundamentals that you have as a person and the people that's around you doing, instilling in you. So. Yeah.
And so you said you grew up with your grandma?
My granny and my mom.
Granny? Mm-hmm. And how did she help you become the man you are today?
Well, I think from her, it's based on the Lord, kind of what we talking about and what y'all talk about in y'all podcast.
Yeah.
Is the Lord. And without the fundamental that she had, I don't think I would have been the same.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't just say it was just her. She definitely had that spirit behind her, and to this day, it's still behind her. But all the principles that she have and that she has or had, whatever you want to say, is there. And what I mean by that is, she was structured on doing the right things at all the times, not sometimes. Like kind of like where I live right now. I live in the middle, where sometimes I do stuff the right way and sometimes I don't. But the foundation that she laid on me, it's always gonna be there for some reason. I just can feel it. If I see myself going in a certain direction, I just think about what she taught me and what the way I came up and kind of different things like that. But for the most part, her principles are within the Lord and everything dealing with the Lord. And what I mean by that is like, you can't watch certain things on TV. You can't say certain words. You have to, live a certain type of way. Different things like that. You have to go to church, not just on Sunday. She go to church on Men's Day, Women's Day, Children's Convention Day. Any kind of day that church was holding a court, she was there. So those foundations right there kind of cemented me in this world.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, and I think you told Ben about like you told him about your dad and stuff.
Yeah.
How was your relationship with your father?
He wasn't there, all the way. I knew who he was, and I still know who he is to this day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a bad thing that he wasn't there. I think if he was, I probably would have came out another type of way.
Like you would have had more anger or something?
Nah,
like,
I don't even have anger towards him. Yeah, because you never know what a person, two people are going through. Like my mom and him,
mm-hmm.
they probably just didn't work out.
Yeah,
and, she might have been.
Yeah, you never know. As a kid, you don't understand.
She may not been the person you can live with. So I don't know. I don't know their situation. So I don't blame him for not being there. He did what he could whenever he could. He got a lot of kids. So my dad worked for K104. He a DJ
station?
for K104. It was a local station in Dallas. But I don't know their situation. So I'm not mad about that.
Yeah.
But the only person I needed, or not the only person, but the person that was strong for me is my granny. She was mom, dad, granny, whoever, whatever you want to say there. But I didn't need a person like that, a dad. I didn't need that, and I'm not mad that he wasn't there.
Okay.
And talking about that, like you said, you didn't need your dad, but you said you had found that in your granny.
Yeah.
So she was wise enough to guide you through, I guess, life. Without even
what I mean by that, she'll lay that fire on me.
Yeah.
Same way. I don't know if y'all know about switches.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I don't know if y'all know about switches, but she lay that fire on me when she need to.
I feel you.
So that's what I mean by I didn't need a dad. Like she was that strong. She was strong and nurturing at the same time.
But and do you think that she was like that because of the environment also that you lived in? That she was trying to, I guess, not want you to fall in certain paths and ways?
Yeah, for sure. I know for sure, yeah. I can't expand on it like I want to, but I think for sure she kind of knew the area we was growing up in, and she knew the people that was in that area.
Yeah.
So she knew to kind of keep her hands on me.
I get you.
And keep me close with it under her wing.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was smart. She's smart enough to also not restrict us too much.
Yeah.
Because you ever hear about the the preacher's daughter or son or whatever? They be the wildest.
Yeah, they rebel.
Yeah. So she let us roll around and do what we need to do when we needed to do it. But she also kept us close with that strong hand.
Yeah.
She didn't play.
Yeah. And do you think like everybody? It doesn't relate to this, but you said you fell away, like you're kind of lukewarm right now, right, with Christ. Do you think everybody, like, do you think me and Ben, for example, like since we're going hard for Christ right now, do you think like we struggle with sin?
I think everybody do.
Yeah.
And as holy as my granny is, I wouldn't say she struggled with sin, to be honest with you, but she probably had a point in her life where she did. And, a lot of people probably go through that where, you get a sermon in church where the preacher say, all right, don't just show up on Sunday and then on Saturday what you did last night.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people like that where They just think since they going to church on that Sunday, we all good. I done got saved again. Whatever I did on Saturday, all that bad stuff I did.
Yeah.
I went to church on Sunday. Now I'm good again. Now everybody struggle with that every damn day.
Yeah.
So it just depends, how much Christ you have in you and how much conviction you have for Christ is going to get you out of that kind of stuff. I said it earlier where I said I'm like stuck in the middle, where I know the way to walk. I know the way the Lord want me to go.
Yeah.
But sometimes I just kind of like go on this side and just kind of do my own thing. And then sometimes he'll kind of bring me back to reality for different things that happen in my life. So I make sure I stay close to the Lord.
So when you were growing up with your grandma, you went to church all the time?
Every time. Like I said, Women's Day, Men's Day.
You were there.
Any convention day, it was there. We was there.
Yeah. And you talk about also your father not being part of your life, but your siblings, you have a lot. That you tell me they're not much part of your life either. Just let's say your brother from your mom's side. So he was going with you too.
Oh yeah, me and him, we very similar in we understand that what Granny was trying to instill in us at a young age.
Yeah.
So we similar to that. So I would say me and him pretty close to the same as the way we believe in the Lord and how we believe in the Lord. I can't say about him, but for me, that's a lesson that I would never forget. The lessons that my granny taught me.
And as a kid, like going to church, of course, a lot of people say it's boring, or you don't tend to understand it.
That may be my problem now.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
I feel like at a younger age, it's more of understanding because they read the Bible and it's a lot of thee, they, and them, and it's like you as a kid, it's like that's English, like it's all these weird words and stuff. So you don't get to comprehend it until you reach a certain level of maturity and like you grow up and start understanding things better. So I'm gonna talk more on a personal level here. When we get to like here at work, I noticed that a lot of people, like customer wise, talks about the Lord to you, and not only that,
out of nowhere too, it's been coming out of left field to me.
But sometimes we be talking and you just mention something that's biblical, or you say something because you have knowledge of the word still because of going to church and hearing things. Like at this point of your life, at like now as an adult, looking back. Well, not looking back, like looking forward. In other words,
sure. Sometimes you got to look back.
Yeah, of course. But like, how do you feel like all them lessons have helped you now, like to this day and age, like all them lessons that you've learned in church and your grandma taught you and everything?
Yeah, man. I sometimes like kind of like what you led with. Sometimes I didn't understand the lesson that was there until certain things happen. Even to this day, I be like, oh my goodness, that's what the preacher was talking about.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's what my granny was talking about.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people don't have an understanding of why a certain person or preacher or deacon or whoever telling them a certain sermon until it happens, until it really happens in real life.
To it until later. Yeah.
So I had a lot of life lessons like that to where I be like, wait a minute. That's what they was talking about. That's what the lesson they was trying to say. So to answer your question, it's many different lessons. I'm still learning to this day to, some lessons that my granny taught me or the preacher may have said that it didn't click right then and there. I'm hearing it and listening to it, but it didn't really, I guess it didn't matter to me at the time where nothing happened in that situation for me, but the situation started coming back around. It's like, oh, okay then, that's what it was. So that's what they was talking about. And if I can find an example in my head, I tell you. But as of right now, I'm just saying it's just different lessons that a person may learn back then or early on in life.
Or he might have said a lesson that he might have told you to go this path, and you might have went the left, the wrong way, and you was like, okay, I could have, if I. Like, you looking back at that sermon, I could have done the right thing looking back, but you had to go through it, through a trial. And sometimes
it's trial and error you learn through. Sometimes it's just life lessons, which is the same. But, I would say just like the teacher tell you in school, where they say, all right, I mean, we heard it a lot because where we grew up in, I don't know if they saying that in every school, but you're going to end up dead or in jail, for your certain behavior that you display in school, that they going to say that to. And I had my moments. Excuse me. I was for the most part a good kid, but I had my moments to where I want to veer off track. I kind of do right now to this day. But the teacher tell you you're gonna end up dead or in jail or something like that. And as you get older and older, you start seeing stuff like that happening to other people.
Man,
So you start seeing it. Like I had a guy that I knew that he was just casually smoking some weed with some more fellas.
yeah,
And they laced it with something, and he had a heart attack based on what was in there. So again, dead or in jail. And I had another partner of mine that got killed up in the trap.
yeah.
I got so many other friends that been in jail for different things that they did.
Yeah.
So
you see it all around you.
So if you kind of pay attention to the life lessons, whether it's a teacher, a deacon, a preacher, a granny, or whatever the case is, you got to take them lessons and run with it.
Talking about teacher, so you growing around in school, especially in the hood or in, I guess, areas that are pretty bad, there's usually two things, like you said, that people find their way, especially black men, either in the streets or playing ball, or they go to a sport because they see that that's the only way out that they can make it out of the hood. Was that something that you heard a lot going to school? Like if I need to play a sport so I can get out of the hood, or I can do that, they didn't really believe in, I guess, doing everything the right way with school or listening to the teacher. They believed that it was either streets or sport.
Oh yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's still similar to this day, because some of the kids around those different areas where I grew up in, that's pretty much is the only way out. Some kind of sport, some kind of entertainment type of deal where they become famous on that kind of deal. That's the only way out. But it really ain't.
Yeah.
No,
Because I'm not saying I'm like all the way out. I'm out of the hood for sure. I'm not in nobody's hood or don't even go to the hood anymore. That's another story for another day. But every now and then I might want to drive by there and just kind of show them. I like one day I was driving to Rudy's Chicken. I don't know, it's in Dallas.
Yeah.
It's one of the famous chicken places in Dallas. But I took my kids there to get something to eat, and I just kind of showed them where their dad grew up at.
You're like, dang.
Where their dad grew up at, and they were like, wait, you grew up over here?
Yeah.
They kind of looking at it like,
Man.
they not used to this.
Trenches.
But to answer your question,
Yeah.
a lot of kids do think sports and different things like that. Even me, I thought how little I am, and I thought I had a chance to be making it in the NBA, but that's not the only way. The only way is to make it out of the hood is following God.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever path he got for you, it's gonna be there regardless.
Yeah.
So you gotta take those lessons that these people telling you, and just keep going forward. Because right now I own me a home. I got 3 kids. I got
Married.
3 or 4 cars. Not bragging or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I grew up started from the bottom. People say that, but you see where I came up from. You'll understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
But just following the path of the Lord, it's gonna get you there.
Yeah.
It may not happen overnight. You gotta definitely step yourself into a position to where you up there. I'm not nowhere like I am saying I'm up there, but I done step myself into success a little bit.
Yeah.
Where I'm looking back like, dang, I can't believe I bought me a house. I done own many cars.
Yeah.
I keep money in my bank. I'm that, and in that way, and I owe that to God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
And
not
just
just
living the right way.
Yeah, not just the material stuff. Like, I noticed, like, when I first got hired here, like you and Ben had different, like a different spirit about you guys.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Like, it's not the material stuff for me. Like, I understand that, but like, not a lot of people have that type of personality. You know what I'm saying? Like, like I came from LA, so it's hard to find like genuine people, like, or like spirit-filled people. Like, even though you don't go to church, like, you still have that instilled in you. So
It's there.
Yeah, I never had like a manager that you know what I'm saying, that was like you guys. So that's the first thing I noticed coming here.
I also want to ask a question that I asked you before, about the environment. When you're raised in this environment, a lot of people think that you're a product of your environment, which is some true, but I believe that you can also decide not to be a product of your environment. So for a lot of these young kids that are probably going to watch us or just teens in general that live in them, I guess, rough situations, what can you like kind of tell them that about their environment, like that can kind of help them to, I guess, stay narrow-minded to get out of that?
Well, I'm gonna just say this: you'll be a fool not to embrace your environment you grew up in, whether it's Oak Cliff, Plano, Frisco, wherever. You have to embrace that.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like you have to be a thug or you have to be, somebody tough and hard and all of those stuff, but you have to embrace that environment because that environment is basically who you are. Now, and I do it right now to this day. I'm not a tough, hard individual, but I am. I have some grit to me. Because the area I grew up in, but you have to let certain things go, for sure. Where certain behaviors that you do in those areas, you got to let that go. But you also have to embrace where you come from, and what I mean by that is like, man, it's life lessons in the hood that some people may not get. Some people kind of thrive. Not thrive, but they kind of want for that lifestyle. Like, there's a lot of people want to be, oh, man, I grew up in the hood.
They come from a suburban to go to the hood to act.
Let me tell you, Michael Irvin he just had this story the other day. Michael Irvin, the receiver for the Cowboys, used to be receiver for the Cowboys. He said his son was rapping and stuff, and they showed a little clip of his son. They talking about, I'm from the hood, I do this stuff, and I done did this and that. Like, Michael Irvin was like, dude, you grew up in a gated community. So the reason I say that is some of these people want to be from the hood and not from the hood because it's life lessons there. Yeah. It's different things that you may go through that you're not gonna go through in other places. So you gotta embrace that. You can't run from it. Man. It is what it is.
I'm gonna ask you an opinion-based question. I just want to see what your answer is. What do you think shaped you, I guess, better? Or made you who you are today, your environment or the situations that you had growing up?
It's all the above. You got to take a little bit from this, a little bit from that, and you kind of shape yourself from there. I learned a lot from my granny, from church, and her word and the Lord's word. I learned a lot from the hood, just hooping in the hood, playing football, running around the streets. I learned a lot from different things, and it ain't. Different things it could be used in different manners. So the stuff I learned from the court, I could probably use it for work, relating to certain people.
Oh yeah.
And the same thing with what my granny teaching me and what church teaching me. I can, use that in another way. So you just got to take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and kind of, make yourself out of whoever you're going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Everything in your life has a kind of purpose.
Yes.
Yeah. And I wanted to go a little biblical now. I know you probably heard of the parable of the lost sheep.
Don't put me on the spot.
You grew up in the church, bro.
So certain things are kind of blurred to me.
Yeah, so basically, like, God, like, the kingdom of heaven rejoices more when, like if he loses a sheep. So, like, for you, for example, like how you kind of went away from the church, like the kingdom of heaven rejoices more when a sinner comes back. If one sinner comes back they rejoice more over that than 99 people who didn't have to, like, who didn't leave the church, basically. Like, if you were to go back to church, the kingdom of heaven is...
Yeah, they say it's like a party in heaven every time a person comes to Christ.
Yeah.
Just exactly. One person, or you talking about a sinner?
Just one. Yeah,
just a sinner. Not like me going to church every day. Everybody,
like, he don't got to worry about,
Nah, it's like...
So you mean to tell me when you go back in the church, they like, that just...
It's not like that,
bro. But what I'm saying... What I'm saying is, like heaven is rejoiced because they gained a soul for the kingdom of heaven. You know what I'm saying? It's like
if the soul was lost or he
lost it.
He's veering on the wrong track. To get him back into that word, it's a rejoice and it's a celebration.
Yeah, because God wants everybody to, I guess, be saved. Now it's just a personal decision.
Yep. And being born again.
So what was your question? I forgot.
No, I was just bringing it up. Like, like if you were to do that, like I'm saying, it's like a better, it's a better thing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I think it's gonna be a point in time, like Ben just said it earlier, where a lot of these people, like, just regular customers, people I barely even know, they be like, man, you're gonna be a preacher, or you should be a preacher, or something like that, something along them lines.
And you can help people like
I don't, and I don't understand where they getting it from. To be honest with you,
From the Lord, I'm telling you, bro.
Yeah.
but see, and I don't even display myself as a worker for the Lord.
Yeah.
I think they just sense it.
Yeah,
like I sensed it.
I feel like we sometimes think with our, I guess, carnal mind or like this brain that we have, and we don't kind of think in the spiritual aspect of things, and we ask like a lot of questions to God that we do not have the answers, and we're never gonna have the answers to. But I do think, and I do know that God has a purpose with you, because every time we come like to work, bro, it's like it might not be every single day, but like it happens a lot that somebody speaks to you, or bring up Christ to you, or just
sometimes it's scary to be honest with you.
And they just want to sit down and talk about the Bible with you. And you be like, what is this? Because they sense something in you, or God is basically working in them to talk to you about the Lord. But like you said, it's something that eventually I feel like you're gonna have to make that decision. Just don't make it too late.
Yeah.
What's your current? Now it sounded like a granny.
Yeah.
That's granny talking.
Yeah, don't wait till it's too late.
Granny, you in there?
Man.
No, but I do understand. I understand. What people telling me, what my granny telling me. I understand exactly what's going on. And I don't know if I want to say I'm too far off track or to where people need to tell me that, because I don't think I am. Because you start getting into the things like, do you have to go to church to be saved? And I'm gonna ask y'all that question if you don't mind. Do you have to go to church to be saved?
My personal opinion, yes. And in the Bible it says it is necessary to congregate, and like we talked before, it's a different atmosphere or experience when you go to church. And it's not me to look for an experience or me to look for something, it's me to give. And I'm giving God his praise and worship, and it's that focus that you're going to church, or what intentions are you going to church for? Like people just go on Easter or on Christmas, they make it into like a
just the most recent one, New Year's.
Yeah, like like it's a Broadway show that they go into. It's like a spectacle. No, it's not. It's church is made for us, for everybody, for the sinners to come together and find a way to make it to the kingdom of heaven by living in His complete holiness.
Yeah, and it helps you to, when you go to church, it helps you to stay on that path, the right path. Like you may say you're saved and not go to church. Like, I'm good, I don't need to go to church. But like you're gonna go through something, or everyone has ups and downs. So you need that church to refuel yourself. You know what I'm saying? Or to help you. Like if you're going through a situation, to help you change your mindset about it, because you could fall into like depression or something, or be angry at someone and not know how to go about it.
Sometimes people say that church is a money grab. And when you kind of think about it and look at, I'm not saying it is. I ain't. I don't know. I'm just saying you see the preacher with a nice Cadillac.
Yeah, and you see him with private jets and mansions. I mean, but
is that
look?
Is that what the Lord had intended for this person?
No, but I'm gonna, before I get to that point. Like
but
what he was saying is
he using those things to get to other people, like the jet. He using to reach more people, because that's what one of the
no, don't start, bro.
No, I promise you, I forgot the name of this preacher, but he was on. They called him in a private hangar, in like a private jet hangar.
That's a whole
and then the reporter came up to him and said, "Hey, I didn't know you had a private jet," and then he kind of got defensive.
Mad.
Yeah, he got defensive.
I saw that one. But all right,
but that's what I mean by like.
All right, but
because he said
I'm gonna answer your question, but let me add to what he said, because he was talking about church and stuff, and also like if I hang out with people from church, more like their good is gonna, I guess, help me revolve. Yeah. If I hang out with like let's just say crackheads all day, I might fall in that environment more.
Why he had to do like this? He said when I hang around people with church, he do like this. He said if I hang around some badness, he gonna do this.
I didn't mean it like that. But when I hang out like the bad is gonna attract and the good is gonna attract, because you're just around that. My mom would always say the people who you're around with will basically tell others who you are. And it's the same thing in church. Like, if you go into church, then people are going to help you, and you can help them, I guess, make it to heaven together. But to your point about the money and all this stuff, it's kind of like saying all blondes are dumb. And maybe you ran across one blonde and she was dumb, but maybe not all the blondes are dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like, for the mistake of one, all the churches fail. So if one minister that's real pronounced, real big, that everybody's looking and see him and as a Christian pastor, all these other Christian churches, they might not be as big, but because of that Christian pastor failing God, these other churches kind of fail. That's how people are going to view it like that.
Yeah.
You know, so when you view a guy stealing people's money instead of using it for the work of the Lord, that's why people have that stigma of looking at these churches like they're
like
stealing.
All churches are like that.
Yeah, they're not. Like,
now, if it was just a one-off,
like with all that,
but it's way more than one-off.
Oh yeah,
the church is technically, like, if you look back, there to help the needs of the people. So, like, the homeless, help them out. The people that need economic help them out. That's what the church was supposed to be, for the need of the people, to supply the needs of the people. And you see pastors supplying their own needs, and you see ministers supplying their own needs instead of helping the community, helping the people, helping missions, people that do not have food, water, livable places, go travel to them places, help them out. But instead, they're just using their economic means just to look good, for their own good.
See, that one bad preacher can dilute.
Oh yes,
40,000 people. Just not just throwing out a number. I'm
Yeah.
Because a lot of people look up to people like that, and when they fail, it's just like, wow, there's no hope for me.
There's a word called discernment. You have to discern what's right and wrong. You have to kind of tell God to guide you to what church to go to, because right now, the days that we're living, back in the day, you used to hear from your grandma, but it's way worse right now than when she used to say it. And it's only going to keep getting worse and worse.
Well, that old saying, I'm not sure how many of y'all out there heard this. We living in the end time.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all heard that growing up.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, as a kid, you think like, no, it's still sunny outside. Everything good. I'm finna still go play basketball. I'm finna do what I need to do. But then when you start paying attention to the world, you start seeing different kind of earthquakes and fires, like wildfires everywhere in California, and
but also
flooding everywhere.
Yeah, not just disasters, but like the media,
culture.
the culture, the media.
Culture.
Like, you see the music we listen, like
the music,
on the radio, it's all sexualized, and then like the TV shows,
the propaganda that's trying to be pushed to our kids at this age. So, you know, just so many things that like are pushing. I guess they are showing us that the end is actually nearer than it was before, and biblically, it's kind of like telling us like, yo,
this is what will happen.
Yeah, it's here. Yeah, it's here, and we see it. And like you said, we're already in the new year 2024, and already a earthquake, a bad earthquake happened, I think, in like Japan or something like
Japan.
that. Yeah,
pretty bad one too. They had hundreds of aftershocks.
Yeah,
you know, the tsunami that hit, I'm not sure what country that was. Waves bigger than buildings.
Yeah,
so it's kind of craziness to think about that.
And all these wars going on. It's like I'm not trying to scare anybody, but like you can see it.
Well, it's answering the question, or not answering the question. That statement that your granny or the preacher used to say, "We living in the end time."
Yeah.
So it's kind of showing a little bit now.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of what we're saying.
Yeah, and just leaving the subject, but what made you want to leave the church? You said it was out of boredom, or what was your other reasons?
Well, you know, as a kid when you're in church, like I said, you're not understanding why you're there.
Mm-hmm.
You're not really understanding what's the point of being in church.
Yeah.
You know, some of the lessons that I was taught then, it's starting to show now. It's starting to understand a little bit more. I wouldn't say I got out of church, but man, how can I say that without saying it?
Bro, go ahead.
I never did really like to be in the church in the first place. I was just forced to be there.
So it was like she kind of. It was like you going.
You live in my house, you obey by my rules.
Yeah,
type
that
stuff.
type of deal. You know, I had a good time at church. Let me not say that.
First of all, as a kid, bro, I'm gonna say majority of the kids rather be at home playing a game system,
yeah. Well, I didn't have game system.
or playing outside or riding a bike or doing stuff than going to church.
Well,
I feel like that's part of your process, like as a person. Like you're gonna live through that little rough part of your life because you don't understand it yet. But once you grow up and you start maturing, like you start noticing these things, like yo, like this is real. This is the God loves me. Like you just start noticing everything that's like biblically, like it's true.
Yeah. So you think it would help him if he went?
I feel like he'll have a way different experience if he went to church with the expectation to give and not to. Let's see what happens. You know, like if he go to church like to praise God and to like go in that mentality, he'll have a different experience than going just to go. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I answered your question.
It's all right, man. We just talking, bro.
No, but what I was trying to say was, I don't think I left. Actually, I guess I did.
Yeah.
Let me not say it.
Yeah. Don't cap, man.
I did, but you know that word is always with me. The kind of like you said, that spirit is always around me.
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to check his notes.
No, I want you to talk on that one.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one.
Do you believe like in the black culture, it's just like something black people do, like just going to church and then kind of falling out or rebelling? Like it's common, bro. Like I have family members who grew up in the church and they don't like want to serve the Lord because of how you grew up. You know what I'm saying? How your grandma forced you.
Yeah.
In a way, you think that's just like it happens a lot in the black culture, or is it? What do you think about that?
Well, it probably needed more in the black culture because, you know, it's so much. I won't just say needed more, no stuff like that, but it's so much challenges that some of these people have growing up in the hood and different hoods and stuff like that, that they need to be, you know, in somebody's church, knowing, you know, the Lord or
like
the right way to live.
Some hope, huh?
Yeah.
Just from the environment.
And I believe like they get influenced. Well, people in the hood, I'm not going to just say black people. I'm just going to say people that are raised in those type of environments are influenced more by, I guess, what they see on TV, what they hear in the music, because they believe that if they do that, they can get out the hood as well. Yeah. So I believe that they're more influenced on music, on entertainment, on sports and stuff like that, because they find that, oh, like, look at these people, they did it. Yeah. They were from the same type of lifestyle. Yeah. If I do it, I can get out of it too. And I feel like it is more needed, to be honest. People preaching, people, older folk taking their kids to church, because this young generation that I've seen, I feel has been more farther away of God than any other generation. That
facts.
Like I feel like you go to a church right now, you don't see young adults like at church. You know what I'm saying? Like it's completely different than what it used to be. I feel like the stigma's always been there. Like they still looked at the rappers, they still looked at the athletes, but I feel like what they're hearing more and what they're seeing more is completely different. And like we talked about it like privately, like you see these rappers having Satan in their music videos, like publicly. Having like demonic pictures, and like even what they're saying is like demonic and going against God. And these kids are like, yeah, you know, they taking it.
And they put a trap beat on it. Like,
it's kind of like I said when I said about you learn life lessons in church, and then you don't see them until later on in life. Some of that stuff don't come out till later. Somewhat what you just said about that music stuff. They don't know what they jamming to or listening to, but they getting some bad lessons
at the same time. You smoking, you like,
but those lessons is coming out of that music. It's not good.
It's not, bro.
So all the life lessons they learn is total opposite from me. It's not a lot of influencers or people that's in the power to, you know, steer people towards the right direction.
And Ben was saying that too. He was saying how negativity and, you know, like just all like everything Satan wants to push, like people love that for some reason. Like that's what sells. Like majority of the most popular.
The bad is what sells, not the good. Like you go on YouTube, right? Somebody did. I guarantee you got a bunch of million of views, but you say helping the homeless, they don't got as much views. You know what I'm saying? It's like people like the shock. People like the I guess the craziness.
Who's the most famous YouTuber? I think it's Mr. Beast, ain't it?
Yeah, but he didn't start like that though.
What he started?
He started doing crazy, like acting a fool and whatever, and then he started, adding these little things, helping Africa.
You don't think his channel grown because of the different different things.
That's a good
he
argument.
did.
That is a good argument, but I think it's more of
He's saying
what
like
he
majority,
did.
but
I
it's
feel
also
I feel
majority.
It's majority, yeah, but
Yeah.
not only that, but what he did to start to
He had to
get
get
him
people
there.
attention first.
Exactly.
So
Once he
he
grabbed
did.
their attention, and he started doing helpful stuff and
Yeah.
different things like that. So,
But we can
it's
also,
something out there like
but we can also mention Gideon, how he started pranking people,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's all selective.
I
But
don't know if y'all know this guy named John Gabata. Or
Oh
something
yeah,
like,
yeah, Bunk Gang.
Bunk Gang, yeah, Bunk.
He would just go in
You know who
stores
he
and
is?
just, like hit something.
Well, just
Rob
look him up
stores.
whenever you get a chance. But he's a guy. He got tattoos all over his face, and he looked like he from the hood. You could tell. I don't know if he from the hood, but
Yeah.
I think
the way he
he
looked. Let me not
grew up
say
broke
that.
though. Yeah.
Yeah, he grew up in a certain kind of way. But he looked like a certain type of character. But he has changed his life around to become a servant of the Lord now.
Yeah.
So it needs to be more people like that out there, like where they done did some bad things in their life.
And they had that
And- but
example.
the Lord done grabbed a hold to them, and
There's-
now they a servant of the Lord.
there's plenty of people out there like that.
Why are these people not getting attention? That's the problem.
I agree. I
That's
believe.
true.
We want to look at.
But he
I ain't gonna even
he did probably get like a remnant, like how
Yeah.
Gideon did. Like even though he lost like millions, it's still a couple he probably changed their life
Yeah.
around because of what his
like
actions.
Gideon turned his life. He deleted his whole channel to serve Christ, but he lost half of his channel. You know
I
what I'm
bet
saying?
it's gonna
More
grow.
than half.
Yeah,
It's gonna grow
definitely.
back.
Yeah, I
If-
do.
if-
I don't. But I don't think it's gonna reach the level
No.
of what it used to. And I'm not saying what he's doing now is bad or nothing. I just believe that people don't.
They don't want that.
They don't want that.
They don't want to be convicted.
They don't
bro.
want. They don't want Christianity. They don't want God in their lives. They don't. And now people talk about God and you can't speak about God. I'm offended. What?
Yeah, man.
But you're not offended of watching TV shows of killing each other or of homosexuality or our kids watching all these stuff, but we're offended of God.
There's a lot of poison in this world right now.
Yeah. So it's like, and it's biblical. As time keeps going, the hearts of many will harden, and their love for Christ will fade.
And,
So
and,
it's bound to happen.
and good is bad. And
Bad
It
is
seems
good.
like we living in that right now.
Yeah, it is.
Like all the
Yeah.
stuff we see.
Sodom and Gomorrah. Like, God destroyed that town because of the amount of sin that was in that place. It was crazy.
it's crazy.
They were saying the good was bad and the bad was good, and that's the
like,
times
you
we
try
live
to
in.
tell someone, bro, this is good. Like, you try to tell them about Christ. They,
Y'all lame.
Offended, yeah.
Y'all whack.
yeah, you crazy, bro. Yeah, like, dang, they just so comfortable. It's like, but I can relate because when you live in sin, like, you're comfortable. Like, it's like, well, I don't want to give up that. Like, you're so reliant on it because that's your God.
Yeah.
Like, everything in the world is your God. You don't want to, like, it takes a lot of sacrifice to be saved. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, yeah,
And,
like,
and you can't serve two masters. You can serve only one.
Yeah,
So
Facts.
God or this world or the enemy. And if you serve this world, you serve the enemy.
yeah, bro. So, but it's hard. It's not easy to get out of that, bro.
Facts. Yeah. I'm done. You
man.
done too?
Yeah, we could wrap it up, man.
All right, bro. Well, I want to appreciate Bristol, of course, for your time and, spending a day with us here at Like We're Podcast. And we want everybody that was watching that hopefully you can learn something today by his story, by his testimony, by the way that he lived growing up, and that you were growing up or still growing up in the hood. Just know that there's a way out. That way out might not be playing basketball, might not be a rapping career.
It's a 9 to 5 in my case.
Yeah, it might be a daily job, but just know that with God, it is way easier to be guided, and it's the best way to do so.
Amen.
Thank you again for tuning in.
I want to say real quick. I want to say thank y'all, you two guys, for doing this podcast.
Of course, bro.
It's much needed. The word needs to be out there, and it needs to be out there for people like you two, where it's a younger crowd that you're going after. Not really just younger crowd, but it's the younger people that you're going after.
Yeah.
And, really anybody that's lost in the way of the Lord. That's who y'all going after. So just saying thank you for doing that. And thank you for letting me be part of this, and hope much success for y'all too.
Amen. And it helps that you're on here just to get that perspective,
Yes,
because
sir.
it's a lot of kids out there who grew up like or are growing up like
Yeah,
you,
still is.
and they may be lost or like it's just. I think it's good you hopped on here to just to give a different perspective that we don't have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, most definitely.
Hope to
Definitely help.
hope to be part of many more of these discussions.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, like I said, hope the best for you two guys and
Appreciate
good luck
it.
going forward.
Yes, sir. The next time we'll have Bristol on. Hopefully, he'll come in with some good news that he gave his life to Christ.
Yeah.
All right, but stay tuned to next week. We'll have another episode. Appreciate y'all tuning in at Lightwork Podcast. Peace.